Right. Hi. So I'm just sitting down. I'm coming from elsewhere. I'll be joining you. I do apologize for this. I'll be joining you in the next 7 minutes at 17:10. Sorry. Maybe later, but 17:10 I'll Hi. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Doc, we can hear you.
Yeah. It takes so long to respond. Okay. All right. So we start. I did mention that there was going to be just a quick walkthrough. Now, I'm not sure how many of you people have had the chance to write a so-called online online assessment that's administered using the Moodle. But I figured one of the things I'm going to spend a bit of time on is just to walk you through exactly how we're going to do this, right? Turns out we've actually done this in one course that we're involved with. So in the process, we could pick up on a few things that we feel worth sharing, right? So can I ask that if you have a question in the process, please feel free to interrupt me. I don't know what happened. Something that makes what is that? Hello? Am I breaking?
Yes, sir, you're breaking. Your mic sounds funny.
Okay. Just give me a second. Just see if I can. Let's see if we can do this. Just give me a second. I'm just trying to see if I can switch to a different network. Hopefully this should be able to work. I don't think we Jacom is doing. Is this any better? Hello? Is my connection any better than before?
No, it's still the same from my end.
Is it the microphone or the connection or something? What's the issue? Like, can someone explain exactly what the issue is so that I can debug this? I can fix this.
Yeah, it's like your voice is on fast forward, something like that, and it's skipping.
Okay. Any better, or is it the same as before?
Yes, now we can get you.
Okay. Now the first years that I work with, they're not as slow as you are, but hey, I suppose people get slow as they age or something. Okay. So I've just shared my screen. I don't know if you can see my screen right now. Can you see my screen?
We can see your
The
screen.
response will be really great here. Okay, great, thanks. So I was saying, if you get to a stage where you need to interrupt me, you should be back and forth. I'm not sure how many of you have actually written assessments via the Moodle in these other courses. Like, I don't know if you've written any assessment in 3010, or I don't know which other course you're doing. Is it education? Are you guys doing educational technology or something? You started doing that, right?
No.
What are you doing? What are you talking about?
Like we started, but of late we haven't been learning.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, I don't know. Okay, but have you had any assessments via Moodle? Has anybody written a test or something, a quiz via Moodle in any of these courses? It doesn't have to be your major, your course major, right? And it could be like a minor, one of your minor courses or something. Do you have experience attempting assessments on the Moodle? This is the question, the grand question, right? Okay, no answer.
I did.
So, okay, which course is this? Here. Anyway, so we're just going to talk about 3 key things here. I'm just going to remind you of things that you probably already know, right? And then I'll walk you through, those of you that are not familiar with the assessment workflow in Moodle, I'll just quickly walk you through some important aspects of the Moodle assessment, things that you want to make sure you are aware of before the test goes live. And then I'll just quickly go through. I mean, this is probably something that you're already aware because it just copy pasted content from the modules that are going to be part of the test, right? So we're just going to just gloss through the different things that we should expect in the assessment, really, and then we'll be done, right? So a reminder that the test is on tomorrow, right? And the test tentatively is going to be an hour and a half long in duration. It could be less, maybe slightly more, but this 1.5 hours here is inclusive of the so-called grace period, right? So we're aware, we're cognizant of the fact that some people might have network issues, for instance, or any other issues to do with attempting an online assessment. And so what we normally do is we allocate 5 to 10 minutes grace period to enable you submit the assessment. And the idea behind the grace period is you're not allowed to modify anything. The system won't let you do that. The Moodle won't let you modify anything. But what you can use the grace period for is to submit the assessment successfully. At some stage, I think there's probably a slide to showcase what typically happens when you do not submit an assessment on time. It won't be submitted, right? You want to make sure you submit the assessment or your solutions before you run out of time. That would be before the 1.5 hour mark, right? Don't wait until the 90th minute for you to submit your assessment. Bad idea. If I were you, I would, at the very least, submit it maybe on the 80th minute mark or something, or 85th minute mark. So something else about the test is the strategy or the approach we've taken is we've learned through experience. We've had a number of quizzes in one of the first year courses that we're a part of. We open it up for 24 hours, right? And so in our case, the test will be made available at midnight tomorrow, right? So that's like 0000 on Friday, right? And so you have the choice to decide which time frame you would want to attempt this test. So you could choose to attempt it at midnight, beginning midnight if you want to, 01, 1 minute past midnight, or maybe 20 minutes past midnight. But the thing is, there's a timer, right? So the moment you initiate the assessment, the moment you start attempting the assessment, the countdown begins, right? So the time will be counting backwards. And then it will cut you off after 90 minutes. So if I were you, I'm not sure where exactly you are, which part of Zambia, or if you're outside Zambia, which part of the world you are at right now, but you want to check which slot or which loading, I don't know, there's a load shedding schedule from Zesco. I don't know how reliable it is. It tends to be reliable where we stay here. And so if I were you, I would look up that schedule. And I'm sure you figured out a pattern, right? So look at, if you know the pattern for Fridays, make sure you attempt the assessment when there is power. Or you want to make sure that you have a device that is going to be fully charged or something, right? I don't know, some other things that you want to take into account as you're deciding which slot you want to attempt the test on here is maybe you want to take advantage of these, is it night bundles? I don't know if they call them night bundles or something. Also, something I would take into account if I were you is off-peak period on the network you're going to be using. So if you're in MTN, for instance, you're better off writing this assessment when there's nobody browsing the internet, or there's very few people browsing the internet, right? So it's typically very early in the morning, right, or the wee hours or something. You probably don't want to attempt this assessment maybe beginning 19 hours, 20 hours tomorrow, right? I don't know if I were you. And also, this might not apply to you, but it would if I was attempting this test. You probably want to attempt this test if you're going to do this from home. You want to do this when there are less distractions, right? Maybe lock yourself in the room or something, but tell people you're writing the test just in case you collapse or something. Or maybe just find a location somewhere close to where you stay, where you'll be able to concentrate, where there'll be less distractions. Maybe under a tree or something in the forest. Right. I don't know if there are any questions here. If you have a question, please feel free to interrupt me. I don't know. You never say anything these days. Okay, so if you are typing a question in the chat, I won't be able to see that, right? You want to speak through the microphone or have your colleagues read through the question. I can't context switch to check whatever it is you're typing. So if you're one of those who has a functional mic and you see a question in the chat room, maybe try and maybe try and ask that question on behalf of whoever is typing it. I hear beeping sound here. My advice to you is you want to make sure that you have a reliable internet connection. We've had several issues where students who reach out to us after the assessment and claim, we're saying claim here because there's no way of verifying, right? Claim that they had internet access issues, and it's one of the reasons why they expect to perform poorly or something. Very strange. There's this course that I was helping co-teach. It's taught using the IDE mode of instruction, the distance mode of instruction. We use a different type of LMS. And there was this person who was claiming to be in the eastern part of the country. No, there was no internet access, well, challenges with internet access. But our argument was, we told you to prepare beforehand, right? So this is exactly what we're telling you right now. If I were you, right? If you are one of those who has like a dual SIM phone or something, if you're going to be using your phone, you want to make sure that you have data bundles in both MSDNs, right? So both SIMs should have data bundles, just in case you would need to revert to a different network, right? I do this a lot. And I just did it just now, right? When you told me I had my connection was a bit muffled here, I suspected that there was a problem with my internet connection, so I switched to a different network, right? I'm actually tethering my phone right now, and I'm using MTN. But in the event that MTN misbehaves, I can easily roll back to Zamtel. And I always do this before every class, right? I prepare as well, which is why we never have a situation where Lighton will say, no, we'll have to cancel class because my network is bad, right? I prepare beforehand. And this applies to electricity as well. There have been instances where I'm having class and there's no power. I'm able to continue with class because I always make sure that my device is fully charged, right? All my devices, my laptop, my mobile device as well. There have been times, believe it or not, there have been times when I've been unable to use my laptop, and what I do is I teach using my smartphone, right? I prepare beforehand, and this is exactly what I'm telling you here. You want to ensure that your device is fully charged. If you only have access to one device, approach a friend, ask to borrow the device just for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I'm sure they would understand. If you live in a household where you have siblings and perhaps mom and dad have a device they can borrow you, just tell them, explain to them how important this is, and make sure you have at least a backup device just in case, right? Now, the idea behind all of these things I'm talking about is once the timer kicks in, when you lose internet connectivity, the timer still continues, right? Because the timer is running on the server. If you run out of bundles, the timer still kicks in. So what you want to do is you want to be in a situation where if your device malfunctions, you use a different device and then you just log on to Moodle and then you continue with the assessment. Right? I hope this is helpful, right? And then in terms of the workflow itself, I thought I'll just highlight a few important components of the assessment UI or user interface. Right, so there's the screenshot here just shows you a sample question from, I guess this was test number 1 in ICT 1110 or something. So ideally, the way the questions are going to be set is they'll be paginated, right? So each question will be presented on a separate window, right? So assuming the assessment has, let's say, 20 questions, for instance, this is hypothetical. Each of the 20 questions is going to be rendered on a separate window. And the idea of rendering a question on a separate window is to give you an opportunity to, for the question that you've attempted to be auto-saved on your behalf, right? Also, I guess it's much more user-friendly to paginate the questions rather than present them all on one page. All right, so the question is presented like what you see on the screen here. And so the different components of the UI here is the top part, so the part that's highlighted in red there, would be the question, right? And what would typically happen is in the event that we have questions that have the same description text, bear with us, we'll repeat the text, right? So what we're saying is if we have a question that is like, let's say it's question 1, and we're saying this is software processes, right? Just an example here. We have software processes, and then we have a description, right? 1, 2, 3. We have a description of that particular question, like so. And then let's say we have a question 1A or something. What we're saying is that we will repeat this text here. If we have 1A, we have 1B. If we have A, B, and C, what we will have is a situation where 1A will be presented on a separate page. 1B will be presented on another page, right? 1C will be presented on yet another page. So bear with us, you will see this stuff here replicated, this common stuff here. It's not an issue really, but I just thought I'd give you a heads up just in case you you find yourself reading the same thing and you think there's something wrong, right? And then also, as you're writing the test, if you happen to have a challenge or an issue and you need clarification, you are allowed to send out an email, preferably to the mailing list so that everybody sees that, that email, right? And they're aware of what's going on. And on that note, if you don't have notifications turned on your device, you want to make sure that you turn them on so that if there's an email that comes through, you know what's going on, what sort of conversation is going on, right? Is this making sense? Are you still there?
Yeah, very much available, sir.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
I have
So,
a question.
yes.
Since there are 2 options, there's an option of uploading a picture and typing via the option being given there. So can you upload the picture when I'm written on a paper?
So we can't get you. I think you've muted your
Oh,
device.
thank you very much. I was just saying, thanks, Hawkins, for that question. Really great question. Thanks, Alice. I didn't actually include a slide to talk about the option that Hawkins is talking about. So what Hawkins is talking about is, I'm just going to beam up something from Moodle, right? I'm just going to show you something quickly. So what Hawkins is talking about here is this part here. So because we know that there are some of you that might be using mobile devices and it might be time consuming for you to type using a phone, what we will do is each question, especially essay type questions. Now, it's likely there's going to be a mix of 1 answer questions and multiple choice questions and essay type questions. For essay type questions, you will see an option where you can upload your solution. So the idea behind uploading a solution is simple. You take out a plain piece of paper, make sure you have a pen, not a pencil. Well, a pencil if you want, I guess. You have a pen, and then you write down your solution as you would if it was a normal assessment. Those like in-class assessments that we used to have. You write it down, and then once you're done writing, you scan it. Once you scan that solution, you come here and you upload it. Do you understand? You upload it. So there's two options for essay type questions. It's either you will provide your solution by typing, "This is my solution." Hope the correct solution here, right? I hope so. Right? This is my solution. Or alternatively, what you will do is you will write down your solution. You write it down on paper. I think you know what I'm talking about, right? You write it down on paper, and then you scan it. Now, the formats that are allowed are just PDF format. So what I would do if I were you between now and midnight is make sure that you have, if you intend to submit your solution as a scanned solution, I do encourage you guys to are you following, by the way?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we are following.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch off my other screen, and I'm going to use my, I'm going to switch off my other screen here, and then I'll share my mobile device so that and I know some of you are third year, some of you probably already know this, but I just want to show you an example of how you would do this using a mobile device. Lighton uses mobile device. So I'm going to switch off this thing here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I will share my device screen, right? Oh, and I wonder if I can use, I don't know, maybe I can. So I'll use my Moodle application. Oh, wow, I don't know what this is. I'll first of all need to share my, I'll have to log in using Meet on my phone here. It's extremely important that you make sure if you intend to scan your solution, it's extremely important that you ensure that so Lighton has just joined. I don't know if you can see him. I think he's there. I can see him now. I'm just going to share my screen here. All right. So I'm also going to Moodle. Oh my God. All right. So the idea behind this is that you, there you go. Maybe I should have used the web browser version, right? I'm not sure what sort of experience you have here, but there's some first years that tend to think or suggest that the mobile application, if you're using a phone, the mobile application is much better than you using a browser like Chrome. But I'm not sure, I can't vouch for that because I haven't really experimented with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ICT 1110 course as an example, and I will scroll down to test number 1 to see if we can do this. Just bear with me. Switch on the labs. Right. I don't know what's happening to my mobile application. Maybe I need to refresh it or something. I do apologize for this, but hopefully it should be able to work. Doesn't look like it's, oh, there we go. Thank goodness, finally came through. I don't know what's wrong with my, I don't know if it's a Moodle app or it's, I don't know what's happening here, but my Moodle app is misbehaving here, which is a bit strange. Maybe I should just use the web browser version. I very much wanted to use the app because I have a sneaking suspicion the app is much better to use. Anyway, just change this to something else. And I will just say Moodle. All right. Hopefully this will work. I do apologize for the delay. I guess one of the reasons why the thing was taking time here is because I haven't used the mobile app in quite a while, so synchronization in the background or something. So I'm just going to scroll down to a test so that I take it for the test that these youngsters wrote, and then I can find that thing here, and then if I can find the test, there we go. So the idea behind submitting a scanned version of the document is that you're attempting the test, right? So this is me here attempting the test. I don't know if you can see this, but I would, I think I need to restart the review here or something somewhere. Ah, Christ. Just need to change the orientation, I guess, I don't know. Is it at the bottom or something? I don't know. I do apologize for this. All right, so I'm just going to start the review here. All right, so you come here. This is the beginning of the page, and you start your assessment, like what Lighton is doing here. I do apologize for the different alignments here, this Swift here. And then I'll click on start or start quiz or something, start test or whatever. So what you do is you have two options, right? If you're using a mobile device, you read this question like what I'm doing right now. And then for you to attempt the answer, it's either you type it in this text area here, right? This is one option. Alternatively, what you could do is you could write it down, and if you're using a mobile device, you probably want to write down the solution. And then once you write down the solution, you scan it. Now, there's different ways of scanning. An easier way, cheap trick to use is to use Google Drive. Observe. Observe in Google Drive. What you have, I don't know if I'm sure Edward Mwalimu taught you this in EDU 1020, right? So with Google Drive, you've probably just forgotten. With Google Drive, what you can do is this plus sign here gives you an opportunity to scan. I don't know if you can see that scan option. Top right, yeah? Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes, sir. We're able to see it.
Yeah, if I were you, I would use that, because the reason you want to do that is if we're saying we're going to use PDF, and the way that feature, the Google Drive feature works is it works really nicely, right? You can easily scan your document in such a manner that the orientation is really good. So click on the scan feature, right? And then I'll just allow this because I don't think I've done this using this account. And then I have my plain piece of paper. I don't know if you can see that. This is me, right, doing the right thing here. And then I'll just say, I'll take a photo of it. And then there's usually an option where you get to edit it, right? Edit it, you just click the tick there, yeah? If the scanning was poor, you click the cross. Come on, I know this. And then you can crop it, yeah? You see the button at the bottom right, the crop symbol, yeah? I don't know if you can see that. You can crop it so that what you've scanned is I guess is legible enough. So observe, when you crop it, you can easily change this thing here in such a way that it's properly presented. Now I know this is additional time, but you want to do this, right? And then you say done. Once you say done, you say save. It's going to be somewhere. You see, I've saved it, right? This is light on saving it. I've saved it somewhere. And if I were you, if you're not very familiar with navigating your Google Drive folder, I would name it using a name that I can easily think, right? So I'll just say ICT, I don't know, ICT 3020 test 1 or something, test 1, and then I'll call this is question, I guess this is question 1A or something, right? .pdf, yeah? You notice that it's already in PDF format. I don't have to worry about, oh, how am I going to convert it to PDF format? And I'm going to save this, right? Now, when you save this, obviously it's going to be in your, not obviously though, but it's going to be in your Google Drive folder, right? Home directory. If I were you, I don't know if you are using any sort of fancy file managers. I use a nifty file manager called Astro, which allows me, why the hell is Astro? There you go. Astro, sorry about that. Astro allows me to connect my cloud service providers, my cloud service accounts, right? So I can connect my Google Drive, my Dropbox, and everything else. But of course, I mean, I'm sure, not really, I probably can't actually. But, you know, what you can do is you can, if you don't want to use a file manager like Astro, what you can do is you can, I see someone saying there. What you can do is you can go to Google Drive and then just download that file to your phone. And then you upload it. Because when it's in your Google Drive folder, there's no easier way of you uploading it. Is there? No, there isn't. And I haven't connected my Google Drive account. I'll do that just now. It's a good thing I didn't, because I'm showcasing exactly how to do it. I love Astro. You probably want to look into Astro as well. You'll find it really useful. I only have to do this once or something. No, this thing is, you see, what we're doing now is you are preparing, I am preparing before the test. You would not be doing this during the test. That would be stupid, really, right? I see someone commenting, oh, this in 1.5 hours. You wouldn't be doing this during the test. You do this before the test. This is part of preparation, right? You want to make sure that everything is in place so that when it's time for you to attempt the test, everything is in. Come on, just go to my Google account here. All right, so the idea here is that I have connected my Google Drive account, and actually perhaps what would be a lot easier is for you to just go to your Google Drive and then download the file once you upload it, right? You scan it, you upload it, and then you download it or something. I don't know. You probably want to figure out what works best for you. Now, the reason why this is taking time for me is because I've just linked my Google Drive account with my mobile device, so it takes quite a bit of time before that can happen. A cheap trick to use is once you scan it, right? The way I scanned it, you would go back to your Google Drive, like what Lighton is doing right now. And then in your Google Drive, you go to the home location of your Google Drive. You will find the file there, right? Where is the file? Where the hell is the file here? I thought I just uploaded it though. Oh, maybe it's because I'm using, maybe, I don't know, maybe not. I need to synchronize this, I don't know. You just have to go to files, I guess. Okay, let's see if we can find this. What the hell? I'm wondering if I think I thought I did, right? I'm wondering if I actually scanned that document or if I didn't. It's a bit strange. Okay, I'm just going to attempt to see if I can Oh, there we go. I don't know if you can see it. It's up there on top, yeah? The reason why, because of the way my phone is configured, I don't know if you can see somewhere on top there, there's that grayed out file called ICT 3020 test 1. It's saying waiting for Wi-Fi. It's because I've configured my account in such a way to save on bandwidth. I've configured it in such a way that uploading of files is only done when I'm connected to a Wi-Fi connection and not when I'm using data. But what I can do is I can force it by clicking that button on the far right, that upload button next to the cross. I'll just click on it to force it to upload, and you notice that it's uploading. And uploading shouldn't take time really. So the workflow is you scan the document. It's not that hard. After scanning, after you scan it, it's going to be somewhere dumped there. And then once it's there, you would say just download or something, right? And then hopefully it's downloading here because of the configuration that I have. It's a bit. I hope it's downloaded. Let me just check my downloads folder. Astro. Now your phone might be configured differently here, but you notice. So I have the file, right? ICT 1110 blah 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 yada yada. And then so what I would do now is, because I've downloaded it here, I'll go back to Moodle, right? And then this is a part where once you scan the document, you download it to your phone, you would click on the, I guess you know the icon here, you upload the file. So you click on that document icon. Once you click on it, the file browser will come up, and then I'll say choose file. I don't know if you can see the file browser there. Choose file. And then I will navigate to the location on my mobile device where the file is, right? So in my case, weird things here. But in my case, I'll go to the downloads folder because the document is in my downloads folder. And then I will choose this file here, right? And then once I do that, I say upload this file. And then boom, I would have uploaded my solution, right? Once I upload it, make sure you click on next page so that you save this. So I would have submitted my solution, yeah? I would have submitted my solution. Does this make sense?
Yes, it does.
Good stuff, all right? So it's not that hard. And I talk about, I hope this time I won't die out on me. That was question number 2, I think, or that was question number 1. You notice that the timer is ticking, and also the things that you've attempted, right? You see that that rectangle in red, it shows you questions that you have attempted. And in fact, you can use the breadcrumbs. If you see the one up to 14, this particular assessment had 14 questions. So you can skip questions. You go to question number 14, you check it out. If you think you don't want to attempt question number 14, you use the breadcrumbs again, so that you navigate to whatever question you want to attempt. If you want to revise a question, you go to question number 1. You should be able to find your uploaded solution, right? So I'll go here and I should be able to find the document that I uploaded, hopefully somewhere here, right? You see this file here, yeah? So there's that breadcrumb feature, really nifty feature, because one of the very first things you need to do, you're 30 years now, is before you even start attempting the questions, you scan them first. Why are you scanning? You want to identify low-hanging fruit, right? Identify the easier questions so that you figure out which ones you should start attempting first. So you can use the breadcrumb feature when you realize that question number 5, for instance, is the simplest, so it's the one you want to tackle first. Then you use the breadcrumb feature. You scroll down here. You just click on 5. The card named 5 there. Those cards this is a navigation pane really. So you navigate to question number 5, and then you attempt it or something. right? Don't worry. One of the reasons why we've said it's 1.5 hours is not because the test is going to be any complex than the average test that you write, but we've taken into account the fact that it can be a bit cumbersome if you're using a mobile device. You know, and I mean, we know that some of you are probably going to have slow internet access, and so it's one of the reasons why you're going to write this in 1.5 hours. So it's essentially, this would be, if this was like an in-class assessment, you'd probably be writing it in maybe 45 minutes or something, right? All right, unless if there are any questions with regards to that, right? So if you have a laptop or a computer, it's going to be, your user experience is going to be much better than somebody with a mobile device. If you have a computer, maybe a tablet or something, I don't know. All right, so a sample question looks like that, and then the top part is going to be the actual question. The bottom part is the control, usually a text area or a text field that you use to specify your solution. Optionally, right below this control is going to be an option where you can upload a PDF scanned version of your solution. So just make sure you have plain pieces of paper or something, write down your solution, and then you scan it like Lighton did, and then you should be fine. So this is what I was talking about, is the navigation pane, right? Now, if you're using a computer, it's going to be on the top right corner. You'll be able to see a mugshot of yourself somewhere there, and then the navigation pane is here. There are cards that are numbered. The numbers correspond to the questions. So what you can do is you can choose to skip to question number 8 and start attempting question number 8. If you finish in record time, let's say you still have like 20 minutes before and you want to revise your question, your solutions, what you do is you can use the breadcrumbs to go to specific questions that you want to review before you submit the solution, the test. Please remember to, at the very end, you must click the submit solutions, right? It will not submit, it will not auto-submit on your behalf. Observe, I'm just going to put this in full screen view, and I'll reattempt the preview here. Look at what's happening. So this is me, right? I'm attempting the test. I begin the test. Oh, is my screen shared, by the way?
Yeah, yes, it is, Doc.
Yes.
No. Oh, okay.
No, the
Oh,
one
it
shared is
right.
for the phone.
Yeah, I just noticed that I should get rid of the one for the phone. Thanks. I want to share this other thing here. I'll stop presenting. Thanks. I'll go back to my, because I was talking about the PowerPoint slide, the PowerPoint presentation here when I was saying, this is what I was talking about. Thanks for that. Just share my main computer screen. All right, I hope my computer screen is shared now, hopefully. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. I mean, so sample question, and then the top part is the question. The bottom part is the control, the HTML control, which is either going to be a text field or a text area where you type your solution. Right below this control here is going to be the part where you can upload your the scanned version of your solution. So if you're using a computer, this is what you would see here. Like if you look at what Lighton is doing, this bottom part here where you have files, right? You click here if you're using a computer, and then you say upload the file. And then you upload your scanned solution, right? What I was about to say here is that assuming that you're towards the end, right? This is me now, question number 1, and this is going to take time here, but that's fine also. I'm on question number 1. I say next page. I go to question number 2. I answer this. Remember the timer is ticking there. I say next page. Next page means you notice the ones that I've attempted. If you're using a computer, it's not a triangle, right? It's showing it's half full or something, meaning that you've attempted it or you've provided some solution, a partial solution or something. I'll say next. I'll go to question number 4. I type my solution. I say next. I go here, I type my solution, I go next. I'm going question number 6, I do the same thing. Now think about this for a second. Even if you're using a computer, if you feel uncomfortable using Moodle for you to type your solution, what you can do is you can type your solution in a text file or a Word document, and then you copy paste your solutions there. if this is going to be too cumbersome for you. Do you understand? No answer. Okay. And then I'm just going to rush towards the end.
We do understand, sir. I was actually planning to ask you the same question, so you were answered in advance.
Right, yeah. So you look at this question, it's just another way of presenting a question. It might be the case that you'll be presented with these strange questions here. Click on next. And then I'm just going to probably get a 0 here because I'm just providing random solutions to this test run. So this is a text field I was talking about. You notice if it's an essay type question, it would be a text area, right? If it's a one word answer or just a single sentence, it would be like just a text field like this, right? Right. And then I'll say next. And then the last question is, so this is what I mean here. When you are done with your attempts, you have the option to click finish attempt. So I'll click on finish attempt, and then you'll be presented with a summary, right? A summary of what you've done. Once you get to this page, you can either submit or unfinish. There's no going back now. Or you can return to the attempt. If you notice that there's something iffy about what you've done, if there's something you haven't done, right? But the key thing is once you're done and you're comfortable that you want to submit, you click on finish attempt. After you click on finish attempt, you must explicitly say submit or unfinish. Once you do that, the confirmation button will come up, which will ask you again, do you really want to submit? And then I'll say submit all. And then that's it, it's done. And then this thing will show me everything that I've submitted, right? A summary page or something. All right, good stuff. So here's to hoping this makes sense. Okie doke. So breadcrumbs, the timer, be very careful about the timer. You don't want to go beyond time. You will not have a chance to submit. If I were you, when you realize that you have 5 minutes left, stop whatever it is you're doing and just submit the solutions, okay? I don't know if this is helpful, but you get to see your mugshot on the top right if you're using a computer there, right? Okay, so I just thought I would also showcase what happened in one of the assessments for people that didn't submit. If you notice the last student there, right? They never submitted. Yeah, so good luck. Are there any questions before we just gloss over some things to expect in the thing?
I have a question.
Okay.
So for those who are using like a laptop, they don't have to convert to PDF?
Well, if you have a laptop, you only convert to PDF if you still want to, because if you're using a laptop, you are still allowed to submit a scanned version. If you're using so if you have a laptop and you feel comfortable writing down your solution on a piece of paper and scanning it, you can do that. So you write it down, you scan it somehow, maybe using your phone, and then you transfer that image from your phone to your computer, and then you upload it onto the Moodle. But if I were you and I'm using a computer, this is me, right? I am much faster at typing than writing using pen. In fact, I shake when I'm using a pen and paper, right? So I would much rather, instead of uploading a solution, scanning and uploading, I'd much rather use my keyboard, right? This is my solution, and then I forget about everything. To answer your question, Ntune, the idea of uploading a scanned version is an optional feature. If you don't want to type your solution in this box here, this text area, then you can upload the solution. Yeah.
Oh, I get.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other questions with regards to the logistics and whatnot? Listen. So if you think of anything before we part ways, please feel free. You want to ask. This thing is going to be open in the next 5 hours or something. So here's the thing, right? A reminder that the test is going to be based on, and we're calling them modules because if you think about it, there are some themes that we covered that could have easily been carved out into separate lecture series, right? But we decided to lump everything into one essentially. So we're calling these modules really, especially when we looked at project management. There's certain aspects that should have been dedicated, that ideally separate topics essentially. But anyways, so we looked at five things that are going to be part of the test, right? So software processes. This was lecture series number 2, by the way, if you are lost, because lecture series number 1 was administrivia, right? Introduction to the course. And then module number 2 was on project management and organization. And then we looked at software project proposal documentation, right? So how we go about writing project proposal, different elements of project proposal. And then in module number 4, we looked at requirements elicitation. We actually started our discussion of requirements engineering. And then we then looked at lecture number 6, it was requirement specification. So in terms of the specifics of what we covered here, a reminder that under software process models here, we looked at a broad range of things, right? So we discussed the different types of software process models, even though what we've been looking at, what we've been latching onto is the so-called traditional software development model, or the so-called waterfall model, right? So we looked at the different types of process models. Hopefully we are at a stage where we know when it's advantageous to use some of these different process models, right? And then we looked at this idea of the different process activities. Essentially, this was a summary view of what we've now started looking at. If you think about it, lecture series number 5 and number 6 were centered around the requirements engineering, right? So elicitation and specification. What we started discussing the last time we met was design. And then we're going to go to implementation and then verification and validation, right? So, but we discussed all these different phases that are associated with the so-called software development life cycle, right? We know what this life cycle is about. And then extremely important because we know that there's this idea of developing software is a feedback loop. You just don't go through the cycle once. It's a continuous loop, right? Irrespective of the software process model that we use, right? And we looked at different ways in which you get to cope with change, right? And we're still discussing change here. If you remember, when we looked at requirements engineering, we reintroduced this whole notion of change, right? What we have to do when we anticipate that requirements are going to change, for instance. And then we went through the so-called process improvement section where we looked at different techniques to improve processes, right? The process improvement cycle, and then how we get to measure or what sort of specific metrics we get to use when it comes to software process improvement. And then in the software project management and organization theme, what we looked at fundamentally was we unpacked this idea of project management. We now know what a project is, the different components of the project, right? Tasks, activities, right? Phases, all those nice things. We looked at project planning where we discussed a number of nice artifacts that we tend to use when we are planning a project: Gantt charts, activity networks, work breakdown structures, all the good things, all the good stuff. And then we had a dedicated discussion to talk about risk, because it turns out that when you're embarking upon a project, a multi-month or multi-year project, bad things can happen. And we realize that we need to, or we get an appreciation of the fact that it's important for us to anticipate what can go wrong. And it's not enough for us to just anticipate what can go wrong, but we must also plan. So risk identification, risk management, right? All the good stuff. We discuss all these different things. So identification, management, what else is there? Risk management and mitigation, right? So we identify risks, we manage the risk, and then we come up with ways of mitigating the risk. And some of us have already started mitigating the risks, right? Some of your colleagues have abandoned ships. They've run away from your project, right? They've gone ghost on you. I'm sure you've come up with ways of mitigating that sort of risk because you anticipated that that might happen. And then also we had a discussion on how to manage people. we realized that it's important to learn how to manage people, because when you're working on a software development project, it's almost always the case that you're working with other people. In certain instances, it's hundreds, even thousands of people, right? So you need to figure out ways of managing people. And then we also had a really nice discussion of teamwork, right? Where we discussed group dynamics and some of the things that we perhaps didn't really make use of, but we'll make use of once we look at 4014 here. How you get to identify people. Remember the personality traits we talked about, right? All the good stuff. And then we had a brief discussion of software project proposal documentation. And our focus here really was more from the perspective of an academic software project, right? There are minor differences when you do a comparison between an academic project and an industry-centric software development project. But we go to a stage where we know the different components that make up a project proposal document, things like guidelines that we need to be aware of when developing a project, for instance. The importance of making sure that the facade that you present to people out there is important, because the stage where you get to sell to people what it is you're doing, the proposal presentation stage, right? Where you tell people what exactly you're going to be doing. Okay, and then we looked at elicitation, requirements elicitation. We contextualized elicitation as being a part of the so-called requirements engineering process. And we spent a great deal of time discussing the different elicitation techniques, right? So interviews, workshops, ethnographic studies, right? Observations, all the good stuff, right? Questionnaires. We've gotten to a stage where we know when each of these different elicitation techniques are best suited for, right? Depending on the type of information that you're wanting to elicit. And then we also went through a process of understanding, of appreciating how we get to translate the requirements that we collect during the elicitation stage into this formal specification. Formal because this is, in fact, the input that developers will use for them to translate the requirements into functional code or source code, right? I guess the major thing that we spend time on here, the final output would be a so-called SRS document, right? Document which has some really interesting components. And we realize that, in fact, there's a broad spectrum of audiences that get to read this document, right? But we discuss a number of other things, like how we get to prioritize requirements, and how this idea of requirements validation and change gets to fit into the requirements specification process. Key thing is that there's a feedback loop here as well, right? Which is why we need to version the SRS document. Guys, I don't know if there are any questions.
I have a question.
Please go ahead.
So how many questions should we anticipate?
I don't know. Maybe, well, I guess 20 is a good number. I guess, I don't know. 20, I suppose. I don't know.
It also have multiple choice?
Probably not. No, not at third year. No. Maybe one with answers here. We're still tweaking the questions, which is why I'm saying I don't know, because we haven't finalized the structure of the questions.
All right.
Yeah. Any other questions that people may have?
For me, it's not a question, but it's just a feedback that I'm giving to the assignment that you gave us, that we should negotiate as a class. What time can we have a makeup class on Saturday? And as a group, we have agreed that we can have a class in the afternoon.
Yeah, so I'd have to get back to you on this Saturday makeup here. It turns out that I have a series of, I feel bad here, but I decided to, because I didn't get feedback from you guys on time, I have a makeup class in a different course, and so Saturday and Sunday. But what I want to do is I will send, and I know I didn't want to push it because I figured people were busy, right? The two class reps, Alice and and Moses here from the Bible. I didn't want to reach out to you because I figured you were busy with preparing for the test. So I was going to reach out after the test to give you a list of suggested days when we can have these makeups, right? Some of the days are going to be within next week, but we can also take advantage of the other weekend. So makeup is a makeup, right? We still have a bit of time, so it doesn't have to be this coming weekend, but we can talk about it. Sir. Let's focus on the test, and then we can have a discussion about the makeups after the test. Yes, Mr. Simfukwesa.
Are we going to have one-word answer, or there are going to be essay questions?
There will be one-word answers.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And another question.
Yes.
So I don't know if
After
you've gone into
submitting,
this question. It seems like, oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead, Anthony.
okay. Well, after submitting, are we going to expect the result there and then, or you mark like?
No. So there are going to be essay type questions. So those have to be manually marked. So marking will have to be done before you see the final results. But by next week, you will have access to the Moodle solutions. Okay.
All right.
It's not easy. It's possible. There are people that it's an interesting area, by the way. There are people that are working towards developing software that can automatically grade essay type questions, but it's not easy, right? You still need some sort of human intervention, if you will. Anyway, some interesting machine learning type stuff that's happening here. Natural language processing, I suppose. I don't know. NLP. That's nice. Any other questions? Okay, it appears there are no questions. See you on the other side. Good luck. And again, this assessment is going to be available beginning midnight tomorrow. So in the next 5 hours, and you get to decide when you want to attempt this. Thank you. And hey, sorry, I was 11 minutes late or something. Yes, sir.
Are we having class tomorrow?
No. So because there's going to be a test, this test is open within 24 hours. In fact, I was tempted, right, to say maybe we start this earlier today so that it closes before the thing, but no. So we'll not have class tomorrow because there will most likely be people writing the test between the time when we have class. So no class tomorrow. Okay. The entire 24 window period is going to be dedicated to the assessment.
All right.
In a way, if you think about this is what we normally do when we have normal sessions, right? When we have a test, we normally write a test when during a lecture slot, and we don't normally have class. So no, we won't have class.
Okay.
Okay. Take it easy.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir, I didn't get you on the essay, on the test format where I asked about whether it will be an essay form or one-word answer. I didn't get you.
Oh, I said it will be a combination of one-word answers and essay type questions.
All right, sir, thank you.
Yeah. If you think, right, that you're one of those people who someone sent that long email, right? No, we have these concerns. And you see, here's the thing, right? I'm not trying to be difficult here, but I don't own UNZA, right? I am employed. That machine runs on autopilot, right? There are rules. I do what I'm told to do, right? I cannot just make up my own rules. They monitor what's going on in these Moodle sites, right? So if it were up to me, it's not like I'm hard-hearted, right? If it were up to me, I was going to leave it open-ended to say, you know what, send through your solutions via email or something. But I don't make the rules, right? I only do as I'm told, just like you, right? So that thing of, oh, no, me and whatnot, and that won't hold. And here's the thing, right? There is out of the pin. I thought that was funny, right? If you think that we know that the vast majority of you guys have access to the Moodle, right? And some of you people that were sending through personal emails to say, I can't write because I've been deregistered. You have access to Moodle. And I was able to check that you were able to log in as recently as a few hours ago, right? the people that are currently have access to Moodle, 73 of you, right? So if you think that you're going to run away from this by coming up with lame excuses, you're mistaken. And if I were you, I would not do that. Just do what is right. Make sure you attempt this test, right? Don't come up with any funny story. Don't jeopardize your chances of passing this course, right? Yes?
Yeah, like just a humble appeal for you to just upload the lectures, the instructions for the test that you are doing before midnight, if possible, for others to also access.
Which assessment?
The instructions, not the assessment, but the instructions.
You mean the slides here?
Slides, yes.
Here's the thing. Here's what we'll do, right? To make it a lot easier for you, I'm going to send out email. This test will be open at 10 hours tomorrow, and it will close 10 hours day after tomorrow. Is that going to be helpful for you to prepare?
Yes, that's
so that you go through these things. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So I'll send an email. The test is not going to
So
be
you
open
mean
at midnight. We'll open it at 10 hours tomorrow, and then it will close at 10 hours on Saturday. Is that fine?
Yeah, that one is much better.
Yeah, it's the same idea, really. It's just a sliding window, just slid it by 10 hours. Okay. Jackson, point noted, I will upload these things in the next 20 minutes or something.
All right, thank you very much.
Including this recording. Okay, see you on the other side. Take it easy. This is just unfortunately.
Sorry, sir.
Right? Yes, sir.
Yeah, you mean even the video will be available in the next 20 minutes?
The video takes time, yeah, maybe in the next 20 minutes. Normally it takes time to render. Let's say 30 minutes, including the video. Yes. 30 minutes.
Okay, great. Okay, all right, noted. Thanks.
Okay. Any other closing remarks? Yes.
Yeah.
So you mean our colleagues?
I'm speaking from.
Let's start with Danny and then Tuno will come in. Yes, Danny.
Yes, I'm talking from where you said you send emails, because like mine, I no longer access email. My school email is no longer working. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but you're in third year now. I mean, you've been sent instructions on how to fix this issue, right? You just send an email to support.education@unza.zm. It's easy. All you have to do is just you can send it using your personal email. And I saw this is why you had to wait for someone to let you in, right? This is a problem here, right? What happened with access to your Unza email account?
I don't know what happened. I was accessing. I've been accessing it, but I don't know. It's just stopped. I can't even log in. Can't even do anything. Can't even
So then how do you keep track of what's happening? You rely on the Moodle, those conversations we have via the mailing list. How do you keep track of that?
Sometimes I just fall from the group, from WhatsApp group, and they move. That's all.
Yeah, this is a problem here, and sorry to put you on the spot. You have to be serious, Danny, right? You're graduating next year. You have to be serious. I mean, something like this happens, it's a trivial thing. I mean, first years, if first years can do this, what's stopping you from just sending an email to support.education@unza.zm and tell them to say, in fact, if I were you, I'd send the email right now, right? Of course, no one will respond because this is 1820. You were told how to do this, right? Support.education@unza.zm. I've just dumped it into the chat here. You just send an email and explain to them.
Yeah, but I received the message saying that somebody was trying to log in my email account. That's why they closed it.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's not. Listen, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. We have to take life serious at this stage, right? At third year, especially. You know, and I've spoken about some of these things in the past where I still see people logging in with their personal email accounts. When are you going to learn? Do you not understand that some of you are going to be working in environments where you'll be expected to use corporate email accounts? If you don't learn how to do this right now, when are you going to learn? Anyway, I think Chaibela had a question. Danny, I will send me an email with your personal email account, and then I'll add your personal email account temporarily to the mailing list so that you receive whatever notifications are going to come your way, the mailing list rather, during the test. Send it right now. Mr. Mtune, you had a question.
Oh, I was just trying to take you back when the issue where you are saying those our colleagues who are deregistered by management, like the day before yesterday.
Yeah.
So they will not be able to write this test?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I unfortunately, last time I checked, I mean, do you have an example of someone who's been deregistered, someone who's been open to you? There's no secrets here. Emmanuel who?
Mujapi.
Yeah, I don't know about this. This is the thing with him. Emmanuel, and I'm sorry to put people on this spot here, right? This Emmanuel hasn't been engaging in the course. I mean, he more than a month ago is when he engaged with this course. So as far as I know, I mean, even if you've been deregistered, I think you should be able to access. Is there anybody who's been deregistered and
they're not accessed?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess that can be used as a reason for someone to request for a makeup assessment or something. I don't know. It's so sad. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's and I responded to, there was a question that came through from Laxon, right? I responded. I told him to say, all you have to do is you read the course syllabus, right? The course syllabus explicitly says that there are certain things that allow you to qualify for a makeup, right? Extenuating circumstances like being deregistered, that's reason enough, I guess. So it's not just you being sick or something. I don't know. Does that help answer your question or something?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Are we going to be allowed to, when, for example, you click on a question, then maybe you don't answer it and go to the next question, or maybe when you click on a question, you have to answer it there and then?
Yeah, Miss Mapoma, you joined us late here, right? And we discussed that. Yes, you are going to be allowed. And I walked people through. We want to play back this recording. I walked people through an example of how you get to do that, where you have, I don't know if you can still see my screen here, but you have this feature here, the breadcrumb feature. What you will see here is the questions, right? These cards represent the questions. So what you can do is you can navigate to question number 13 and attempt number 13 and still go back to question number 1 by just clicking these cards here. So yes, you'll be allowed to do that. Just like in the test. Any other questions?
Yes, sir. Yes. I want to find out if there's an easiest way to scan through the questions, like when you just want to check them out, or you have to go question by question.
Well, for now, the way that we're going to configure this is it's going to be rendered question by question. So the easiest way is to go through. You see that the allocation of the time takes into account the fact that you're probably going to use the first 5 minutes to scan through the questions, right? And so there's no easier way other than you scanning through them. So you do what I showcased, where you I'm going to do this again, by the way, for the benefit of those of you that joined just now. I'm just going to use the first year thing as an example here. Scroll down to the test. Actually, I'll go to the quiz because the quiz is much easier, I guess. I don't know. So let's say this is the test, right? You start attempting the test, and once you start attempting the test, you will have, once you click on start attempt, you will have access to these cards here. These cards represent questions. They're paginated questions. So when you start the first time, my recommendation is that before you start answering the questions, scan through them. Question one, you click on question number 2, it comes up. Question number 3, you see what question number 3 is all about. Question number 4, you see what question number 4 is all about. And then based on what you've read, you decide which one of these you want to attempt first. Right? So the easiest way, Peter, is for you to just scan through them one by one. It's like flipping a page, right? In that paper-based assessment that you normally write when you're on campus or something. It's not different. Because instead of flipping the page here, you're clicking. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay, so again, a reminder that the assessment is available not midnight, but 10 hours. I'll send an email about that. It's beginning 10 hours tomorrow. It will close 10 hours on Saturday. Sorry?
Why can't you just make it at midday?
Tune, but you had the consents, man.
Well, so, well,
Make
okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you want.
But guys, we're considering our friends who didn't watch the video so that they can have time to go through the video. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point, I guess. Sorry, Trace, you are saying?
I was saying we have a test on Saturday in another course, so I thought maybe you would put it earlier.
Ooh, what time is your other test?
It's on Saturday. It's starting, I think, in the afternoon or something. It's in English.
What time? Do you know what time?
They haven't told us a specific time. They just said Saturday.
Okay, so then we'll just stick to 10. But the thing is, if you have a test in English on Saturday, then perhaps what you must do, Ms. Mapoma, is that you must attempt it tomorrow, right? Instead of attempting it on Saturday. You understand what I mean, right? I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, because it's 24 hours. So when we open it, okay, well, I think people have a point by saying to give people an opportunity to consume this recording, it would be wise for us to start at midday. So I'll open it up at 12, and then it will close at 12 on Saturday. If you have a test on Saturday, make sure that you either attempt it tomorrow or in the wee hours of Saturday. If I were you, I would attempt it between 12 and 23:59 or something tomorrow. All right. If there's nothing else, then goodbye. It's just a test. Don't stress. It should be fine. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Sir, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Yeah, that's the last question. I once wrote an online assessment, and it was happening in such a way that, for example, if the web browser is open, then maybe the machine I'm using goes off and it closes. It automatically submits. And if you try to open using another gadget, then you can't. That's not the case with this one, isn't it?
Nope, that's not the case.
Okay.
If you run into any sort of problem during the assessment where you are locked out or something, send email to Lighton, right? And then we'll unlock you or something. But that's not what happens. We'll not configure it that way. There will be no automatic submission. You have to explicitly submit it yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I think it's time to go now. This is 18:30. Bye-bye. Good luck. Thanks.
Thank you.